Imagine you're at a party telling a story, and halfway through, you see people checking their phones. You realize you're losing them, but what if I told you with just a few simple tricks, you could make any story, yes, even the boring ones, so engaging that people hang on to every word? Today, I'll break down this book, Story Worthy by Matthew Dicks, and I'll put the Amazon link in the description below. So if you guys wanted to buy a copy, it is an awesome book. I highly recommend it. So we're going to break this book down into quick version of lessons I've learned and applied to have a huge impact on my life, sharing the key insights that will help you become a master storyteller, whether it's for public speaking or just captivating your friends. Speaking of the author, Matthew Dicks is a professional storyteller and a multi-time winner of Moth Grand Slam. In Storyworthy, he shares his techniques he uses to turn ordinary moments into engaging, unforgettable stories. And the best part, you don't need to be a natural-born storyteller to do this. Just a simple process to find, craft, and tell better stories. So let's get into the key takeaways that will transform how you see and share your own life stories. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Adnan, and I am a professional sales consultant, and I have achieved the #1 status in sales consistently year after year. Being a great storyteller has helped me tremendously in my career and my personal life. So here are the key summary takeaways from the book. #1, one of the most powerful ideas in the book is homework for life, where the author suggests that every day you should take 5 minutes to write down the most story-worthy moment of your day. Not something dramatic, just something small and meaningful. Maybe it's a conversation with a stranger. Maybe it's a moment you felt embarrassed, proud, nostalgic. Over time, these moments become the foundation for amazing stories. This practice helps you recognize that your life is full of meaningful moments. You just need to start noticing them. You don't need to write or document the whole story. The exercise is best done by simply writing 3 to 5 words to remind you of that moment. #2, the 5-second moment. Every great story revolves around a 5-second moment. For example, a shift in perspective, an emotional realization, or a change in understanding. It's not about the events, it's about the transformation. A story is not just what happened, but it's more about what happened changed you. What happened that changed you? For example, if you tell a story about getting lost in the city, the story isn't about being lost. It's the moment when you realized you're more independent than you thought, or a stranger's kindness changed your view of humanity. So when crafting a story, always ask, what was the change? What did I realize? That's what makes a story story-worthy. #3, jump straight into action. Many people make the mistake of starting their stories with too much background information. There was an interesting observation from the book too, where the author mentions that even if you watch a movie or you watch a TV show, every story starts with either people walking or cars moving. There's a lot of action that normally, a lot of movement that's happening at the beginning of a lot of movies and stuff. So, that was an interesting thing just to notice all the movies since that, you see the people walking or cars moving. So it was awesome to observe that. So when you're sharing, when people give up all this background information, I learned with this book that you should start as close to the action as possible. For example, instead of starting your story with, it was a sunny day and I had just woken up, start with, I was already halfway down the street when I realized I had no idea where I was. This immediately grabs attention and makes the audience want to know what happens next. Number 4 is the present tense trick. Telling stories in the present tense, even if they happened in the past. For example, instead of saying I walked into the room and saw my boss, try something like I walked into the room, I see my boss. This makes the audience feel like they're experiencing the story with you, rather than just hearing about something that already happened. It adds urgency and keeps people engaged. Number 5 is the dinner test. Before telling a story, always ask yourself, would I tell this to a friend over dinner? If you wouldn't, it's probably too long, too boring, or missing an emotional hook. All your story needs in this case is to cut out the unnecessary details and focus on the emotional core of the story. A great story should feel like a conversation, not a lecture. Closing remarks. So here's my big takeaway. Your life is full of great stories. You just need to learn how to spot them and shape them. Number 1, start doing your homework for life. Number 2, focus on the 5-second moment, the transformation. Number 3, jump straight into action. Number 4 is to use present tense to create immersion. And number 5 is to always apply the dinner test. If you practice these techniques, you will not only become a better storyteller, but also start appreciating the small, meaningful moments in your life. If you found this helpful, drop a comment with a story idea you've been meaning to tell. And don't forget to like, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and go tell your story.